Welcome everyone to our Tuesday fantastic show from all over the universe. I am joined once again by Mr. David Ellis and Rajie. Welcome to the show today.
Hey, Andrew, you good?
Yes,
Hey.
I'm great.
Thanks, Andrew.
So we are here to talk about the intergalactic world of social media that has transformed lives from hermits to beyond hermits, back into hermits. So David and Raj, welcome to the show. We're going to be delving into the world of the internet and all of the processes we can learn from it, from business to sociality.
Nice. That's always a fun topic, especially now, right? Because we're all stuck inside. But this is the perfect time, right? To like refine your message and see how it's going to be received out there. And there's so many different mediums of like content that you can make right now because you have the time, at least.
Right.
I think.
Yes, I keep saying it's like COVID-19, the gift that keeps on giving. Now you have the time, think about what you have to do and get it done.
So Raj, why don't you give people a quick rundown of what it is that you do?
Okay, let's start with, because I do a lot. So I have a small video production company and I'm a coach on the side. So I predominantly focus on social media videos, so quick hits. I also really like making longer format pieces of content as well. I shoot, I edit, I produce focused stories. A lot of my stories are about consciousness and the convergence of science and spirituality, lifestyle, health. I love interviewing interesting people doing interesting things. So that's the video side of things. I love working with CEOs and entrepreneurs to help them refine their message and share it with the world. And I've noticed that sometimes when I'm working with especially like healers and other coaches and stuff, they get a little camera shy, or they have these amazing things they want to share, but it's kind of all over the place. And so we'll on the side do our own little coaching session and then come back onto camera, and then boom, you're ready to go. So that's something that I really in the world of video stuff, that's what I love to do. And on the coaching side, I'm a heart math coach, so stress management and resiliency training, and also an accelerated evolution coach, so helping people move through emotional blockages, trauma release, character trait integration. That it's like psycho-spiritual work, and it's very fulfilling, and I love talking about it on my own networks as well.
Well, our people are very familiar with all the stuff you just talked about here. We do a lot of trauma release on live on the callers here too. So you're right up our alley. Now, David, everyone already knows who you are. And when we decided that we wanted to expand our Tuesday show and start bringing people on, you had told that you wanted to bring Raj on so that we could delve into some of the social media side, the coaching side. So what is it, the main themes that you want to bring up today about social media, coaching, and advancing people to understand better the reality of what social media is?
Well, I think, Andrew, a lot of people don't know the power of social media. There are a lot of people who are in your audience who they do have businesses, they do have something to say, they just don't know the how. They don't know how to say it. They don't know how to get out there. So part of the show has always been about solutions, right? We have done a lot of coaching online, unofficially, and so on. And we are now showing people, the professionals that are out there, we're showcasing them to let people know that there are people who actually know the how and they're willing to assist. So when you talked about social media, the first person who came into my mind was Raj. Let's just call Raj. Let's just call Raj. Let's not call anybody else. We don't need to call anybody else, okay? So I brought Raj on. Now, the social media aspect, it has many facets to it. We just had a talk in the breakout room about the suppression of a lot of free speech. I also want to talk about that because we want to inform viewers of what it is that will affect their social media feeds when it is that they put their stuff out there. We need to let them know why they're failing at certain social media campaigns and why they're succeeding. Okay, we have had a bunch of legal issues happen in the last 2 years. Okay, ever since the 2016 election, that has been coming, and it's been affecting the social media landscape drastically. And there's been an actual suppression of free speech. Last week, we did a section on the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
We did that, and because my background is in legal and business. But what we are trying to inform you is how to get around all the new restrictions that have been put around social media so that their campaigns can be successful, so that they can reach the people that they want to reach.
Great. I think you said some amazing things, David. Thank you. What I'm noticing are live broadcasts are doing really well. They've always done really well, actually, but especially now, more people are going live and more people are jumping on because people are doing this all day, right? Everyone's on social media right now. This is kind of all we have because we can't go outside. So going live right now is a good idea. And personally, oh my God, live like terrifies me. Like even this, I'm like, oh my God, we're live. This is so fun because I'm such a broadcast person. I'm used to creating content, making it look awesome, putting some graphics in and stuff. So there's like this element of like, woo, what's gonna happen with live? And it can be quite scary for some people. But you press that button and you just go and you see who shows up. And it's the best every time, just like this. Like I can't wait to see who's on the call right now and what kind of questions come up, because there's something very obviously organic about a live broadcast. And I want to encourage everyone to just, even for like 2 minutes, 30 seconds, just try to go live on Instagram or Facebook. I recommend Instagram. It's way more friendly, I find, Instagram, and it's more user friendly. And you can even invite someone very easily on your broadcast if you're a little bit scared or shy. You can tell your friend, hey, come on Instagram right now and I'll add you to my call. But just breaking that notion of like, I can't do this, this is only for influencers, or this is only for special people. No, everyone should go live right now because you have something to share. And what I've been doing is talking to, just my friends and finding out what kind of realizations and insights have you gotten in the last 3-4 weeks. And I know there's a lot, but just tell me your top 3. And just sharing that has been awesome. Just talking to people for like 5 minutes at a time and getting their perspective has been awesome. So one thing I just quickly want to share is going live right now is a really good thing to help your channels, your growing your network and getting your business out there more.
Excellent, Raj. Excellent. Raj, what do you think is the biggest barrier to people with regard to getting on social media and getting their message out there?
They don't know what they want to say. I think people have the like, I want to join, but you press live or you press record and you're like, you know what I mean? Like it happens. And so that could be a very big barrier because you're like, tomorrow, next week, next month, or you're constantly waiting for someone to show up in your life and say, hey, this is how you do it. That person might not show up, that course might not show up, that thing might not ever happen. It could, but I think it's going to be up to you to just sit down with yourself and just write out a couple of points that you're like, okay, this is exactly what I want to say, and let me just try this. Like start scared and small. Okay. It doesn't have to be this grand production. Just start scared and small. That's gonna be my first thing.
So my question, go ahead, Andrew.
Something that I learned about live broadcast is October 31st, 2012, I was giving a chance to go and do a radio show that had less than 500 people listening to it. 5 days later, I was on a simulcast network with 300,000 people listening to it. I went from 0 to hero, and I had to figure out how to talk really, really fast. Mistakes.
I wanna chime in here. Apart from the fact that you have the internal nervousness. You can overcome these things by making yourself your homemade teleprompter. A lot of people don't know how to do that.
Very easy. Very easy.
If you have two computers, you have a teleprompter. Okay, let me show you how easy it is. You got your computer, you open PowerPoint, right? You got your mouse underneath your arm. You don't need to buy expensive equipment, and you just simply click to the next slide. Click to the next slide. Put the computer behind the computer that you're using, and you have your teleprompter. Now, you guys really don't have an excuse in terms of not getting online, right? Andrew and I have been doing this for a little while. Rajie's been doing this, I don't know, since wherever, but when it comes to being online, the problem that most people have, this stage fright aspect, I want you to understand that there's a point that you get over it. You can get over it, like anything else.
Yeah, that's a great point, Andrew, David. But Andrew, you brought up something that I wanted to circle back on, and it's you said willing to make mistakes.
Yes.
That's huge because we have this perfection problem, right?
You remember Boulder, Andrew? You remember that? Techno gremlins?
Yes.
We call them techno gremlins when everything in a broadcast falls apart and we're laughing and laughing and we couldn't stop laughing.
Oh my gosh.
So Robert, why don't you stick up the graphics? So if anybody is listening to us in YouTube, in Facebook, in Periscope, Twitter or Twitch that wants to come and join the main room, you can come and join our Zoom room here. The meeting ID is 911-001-1974. And there are phone numbers on the side anywhere in the world that wants to call in. We will be taking calls in this second hour. So anyone that wants to come in and join our Zoom room, come and join off of the image off the graphic, and Robert will put it back up. Now, Roger, I want to make another statement about making mistakes. So many people whip themselves every time they stumble over a word. If I whipped myself for every time I stumbled over a word, I wouldn't have a back. I wouldn't have I fumble openings all the time.
We would all be dead. Trust me. Okay, we would all be dead, beaten to death by our self-flagellation.
Oh my God.
Actually, the faux pas and the stumbles make your broadcast actually better, not worse.
I can't tell you how many times I can't speak.
I remember that broadcast in Boulder that we did last year. Was it October? Everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong. Your mic fell, your computer fell, the internet problems, right? Oh my God. My mic fell and everybody in the audience was just laughing it off. I got kicked off the broadcast because of internet issues, got back onto the broadcast, changed rooms, changed mic, changed the equipment, and it worked because we still got our message across. I don't know, everything in the universe was against us that day. Techno gremlins was against us. But let me explain to you guys, you don't have to be perfect when you do a broadcast. It's not you don't have to be perfect. Actually, being natural is better than being perfect.
Yes, exactly. And that brings me to my next point of vulnerability. And so vulnerability and courage I think they go together.
Yes. And they're not mystical. They aren't mystical.
Oh, super practical and, very necessary. So on my YouTube channel, first of all, I was so excited when I got like 20 subscribers. I was like, oh my God, 20 people? That's amazing. And now it's grown to 5.3 thousand, which is amazing. It's not 20,000, but it's still 5,000, which I'm so excited about. And the message that I got from people was 2 of my videos went viral and they were on ayahuasca. They were not, I wasn't on ayahuasca. I was talking about, ayahuasca. I was telling experience and
actually, Raj, if you were on ayahuasca, that would have made an amazing broadcast.
Yeah.
Last year we had a lady call live from her ayahuasca ceremony in Guatemala.
That was hilarious. Yeah, I remember.
Yes.
You remember that broadcast? Oh my God.
Wait a minute. She left the ceremony to call in?
She was in the ceremony with her phone. Yes.
Yeah,
I have a huge ayahuasca consumption audience, gigantic. A
Oh,
lot of the teachings that I put, they take them with them worldwide, and ayahuasca centers all around the world use my material. So it's
oh
just one of those, I don't know, ayahuasca fame scenarios.
my God, that's so funny, Andrew. I feel like a poster child for ayahuasca. I got interviewed by the CBC. It's a Canadian national broadcast thing, because of my videos, because my story went
Mhm.
kind of viral on YouTube. And the video, there's two videos, part one and part two. They are like 25 minutes long, and people wait and they listen, and people have told me like they cried with me, they laughed with me, they healed with me just through the story. And I just think it's so powerful. I had such a positive experience with the medicine, and it changed my entire life. And I've been on this healing journey since I was 20. I've been a meditator since I was 20. I'm 35 now. And I thought when I got to ayahuasca, this was the last thing. Like, okay, and I always said I would never go looking for it, but if it came to me, I would do it. And so now I was working for Collective Evolution, and the whole team went down to Rhythmia in Costa Rica, and here I was like, I've only smoked a little bit of weed in university. That's it, and then went to ayahuasca. So, but in between, it was like Reiki, shaman sessions. It was landmark. I did a Vipassana. So constantly, trying to find self, heal, heal, heal. And so when I got to ayahuasca, I was like, whew, here we go. This is the last thing after ayahuasca, like that's it. I'm good. And like that's so cute now to think that I actually thought that because it was the beginning of something epic. Oh, thank you so much for bringing this up. Yeah, it was the beginning of something new. And the biggest takeaway that I still feel today that I got from my first ceremony was now there's still this hum of joy in the background, and it's still there. I still feel like I still get upset and angry and stuff sometimes. It's not as
Part of life.
lash out, yeah, but it's still this hum of joy in the background, and it was such a beautiful experience. Have you guys done ayahuasca?
Yes, I've done it many times. I
I
also serve it also.
Oh, you served medicine too.
Yeah.
Oh yes, you don't know that Andrew is a shaman. We're all very accomplished metaphysicians and esoterics on the show. So we bring people like you, which is why when asked for a social media person, yeah, it's gonna be Raj.
So let's
So
talk about what's happening right now then. Like, what are you guys feeling? Like light workers, star seeds, all that stuff, especially the last 2 days. Are you feeling any waves and up, and like how
oh no.
ups and how are your downs?
As I said to Andrew, COVID-19, the gift that keeps
Keeps
on
on.
giving. It keeps on giving.
So-
It's like
So let's give a chat out to the audience. For anyone that's a starseed, put up a number 1. Anyone that's a starseed shaman light worker, put up a number 2. Anyone here that's a starseed shaman super business person, put up a 3. So go on and interact with the chat room, because our audience is see all the 1, 2, 3s, 3, 3, 3s. Everyone, just about more than half the people here have done ayahuasca. Okay, somebody's a 42.
that's
So
funny.
everyone here is feeling the tickle in the energetic rectum of change.
Yes.
That's the way I call it.
Yes, absolutely. And
So we have seen some major paradigm shifts. A lot of history is being created in 2 months.
Yes.
And people, it's going over people's minds, because it's coming so fast and so furious,
yeah,
right?
well, we knew this. It's happening so gently. Like we all knew, we've been promised the golden age. It's been promised to us. Or I can't like I still can't believe like wow, I get to see it in my lifetime,
Right.
in such a short amount of you guys know what I mean. Another thing that I would love to bring up right now and see how many other people are resonating is I feel like I've been training for this my whole life. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Right? For this
Yep.
moment right here, right now. I feel like I'm stepping into my purpose even more. Even more.
Yes. So we got a lot of people that have not done any work until COVID-19 came. And since the lockdown, people are practicing and getting their results, and because they don't want to miss out. Because one of the things I've been saying for years is nothing is going to happen tomorrow until you make it happen. The aliens are
Mm-hmm.
coming, the economy's not going to reset until you individually have a relationship with yourself, forgiveness, letting go of shame, blame, and guilt, and stopping the external stimulus from creating curiosity learning and not authentic learning about yourself. And
Mm.
so many people got that, but now they're getting it on a whole new level because they can taste it now.
Mm. So
Yes. Apart from that, I think this. I keep saying it's the gift that keeps on giving because it made a whole bunch of people who had a whole bunch of distraction. All of a sudden, there's less distraction. You're at home. You have to be by yourself. You have to think. And here's the thing about isolation, and I do mean whatever you see, you call it social distancing. I call it imposed isolation. For a lot of people, it is, especially if you live alone. You can't escape yourself if you live alone. Raj, you know what I'm talking about.
oh yeah.
You can't escape yourself if you live alone. If you live alone, you can't. You have to deal with the problems. And here's the thing that people are not understanding when it comes to what is happening here. So we have a social distancing, physical distancing, which is imposed. It's an external imposition, right? But as soon as you remove certain energies from your environment, you begin to start a healing process. People think healing is something that you consciously says, "Oh, today I'm going to heal." No, you're constantly trying to heal. You are constantly trying to heal. You're just stopping it. That's what's happening. So if you are the kind of person who needs to be around people all the time, you get influences from different people. They may be negative, somewhere in between. They may be positive or whatever else, right? But the work has to be done by yourself. It has to be done by yourself. And as soon as you remove all the different energy hooks inside of you, it's going to start healing. And some of that healing may go in places that you wouldn't have imagined. Okay?
It's true.
It- it-
I
Sorry.
want to add. I want to add one thing here. So, David, what you were saying is so absolutely true. But there are a small few of people who suddenly make something relevant right away, and
mm,
those are the ones that are stuck with no impulse control, and they wonder why they never heal. And I get caller after caller after caller that you can hear it in their voice. They suddenly make something more relevant than the rest of their life about a past life, about a girlfriend that they never had, that never even asked out. They suddenly make something so relevant. And what I'm running to in this modern world, even during COVID-19, they make this relevant today, they make this relevant today, they make this relevant today, and the old things start to fade away. They don't know what to make relevant anymore other than themselves, your individuated experience with who you are. That is
excellent.
what the inner
Yes,
work is.
that is correct. And that is very much correct. And it's very important that people understand that no one else is going to help you do that work. You could be with 1,000 people. They will encourage you, but at the end of the day, you have to do the work. And this is what we keep saying week after week. And I hope that some of what we're saying is sinking in. Okay, because there are a lot of people out there who would like to believe that there is some shortcut process here. And I'm telling you, Raj, Andrew, myself, we've been at this for years and we're still discovering new things about ourselves. Okay,
Yes.
so if you think this is going to be some 5 minute weekend process, it isn't.
It
It is
isn't.
going to be a 5 minute weekend process, right?
Yeah. And it's interesting now because like we've been on the path for many years now, and we've had many dark nights of the soul, I think, all three
Oh,
of us.
yes.
Oh,
Oh, yes.
Right, many. I don't have as many as I was younger, but I was just having a conversation with another friend yesterday about Dark Nights of the Soul, and I think many people are going through them. So, what is Dark Night of the Soul? First of all, I characterize it as feeling absolutely disconnected, disillusioned, isolated from
Mhm.
your own divinity. Like even God has abandoned me. I remember having one night, dark night of the soul. It involved a bottle of wine. It involved lots of crying. It involved crawling to the bathroom. It was very, very sad and upsetting. But and I remember saying, even God has abandoned me. Like, oh my God, I'm just like a horrible person. And it sometimes they last for a whole weekend. Sometimes they last for a month. Sometimes they could last like a year, and
Mhm.
it's a process. And so the I think the most important thing to remember about having dark nights of the soul is that know that there's it's a level up, almost a rite of passage, that you have gone through it. And the ayahuasca people will recognize this, that when it's dark in the beginning, you're purging, you're rocking back and forth, you're sweating, you're crying, you're going to the bathroom, you're releasing. But then there's a moment and you just kind of go over the hill, and like it's light time and then you kind of get to play with that. So dark night of the soul was one thing, and then somebody asked a question that I wanted to just bring up about how do I know if I'm having a real experience or if it's another game of the mind. I think that's a really important question and a really good question. And the way that I would like to answer that is feeling. Feel. You know the truth. It's here. I promise you, you know the truth. You can feel it. And when someone tells you something, or the media tells you something, or your family or your friends, and it just doesn't feel right, listen to that. Like actually listen to that. What do you guys think? How would you answer the question of how do I know if it's a real experience and not another game of the mind?
Well,
First
if
thing,
you go ahead, you go first, Andrew.
first thing for if you're questioning it, you're not in touch with your feelings. Because what Raj said is 79% of the game feeling. The other part is taking that feeling and co-creating with it. So if there's an image and stuff coming back to you, giving it energy back, so it's a whirling ball of self-creation that is not ego-driven, that is so fast, you're not filling in the blanks with your mind. That's when you know the experience of self is real.
Well, I have a more simpler answer. I suppose the analogy could be given. How do you know that I have pneumonia or it's just another game of my mind? Well,
Cough, cough, cough.
how do you know I have pneumonia? It's not just another game of my mind. Well, if you have to ask whether it's a game of your mind, then it probably is, because if you have pneumonia, you're going to know about it. It's going to report to you in ways that you can't deny. So having a dark night of the soul is kind of like that. It's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening. And then you have a choice now with that pneumonia that's happening. You could say, oh no, it's fine. Everything is fine. Everything will be fine. And you try to pretend that it's not happening, right? A lot of people have tried to do that. And pneumonia comes looking for you until it hospitalizes you, and then you have a real breakdown. Okay, so I suppose the easiest way to answer that is if you have to think about it and say, is it just another game of the mind? Then it probably is, right? But if you're having a real experience, you don't have to think. You could try to trick yourself, but it's going to make sure that you understand that it's here and it's happening. Um, I also want to say something here. A lot of people step onto spiritual paths. I mean, this conversation started with social media. We're going to get back to it, right? Because I think that there's a tie in here. But a lot of people step onto the spiritual path and they have certain preconceived ideas about it from watching other people or reading other books. Okay? The mind is a powerful, powerful engine. It will create anything that you want to. Sometimes, in certain cultures, the mind is the demon, the mind is the devil. You know that, right? There are certain cultures that believe your mind actually is the devil, and I'll tell you why. If you have preconceived notions about what your spiritual evolution is going to look like, and you go down that path and you say, okay, by the first week, I should be experiencing this. By the second week, I should be experiencing that. I want to tell you that the universe has an answer for you. Your best laid plans will come to ruin. Okay?
in your
Do
first
not
day.
in your first day, when you think that everything is going to happen, right? Your best laid plans will come to ruin. A lot of people, like, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you an actual example. I was very young when I started this path. I was 13 years old. Okay. We had a center, a meditation center, and somebody who'd been doing Reiki for years came to the meditation center. They had been doing Reiki for years, but they hadn't done their work. And so they came and they started to meditate. And here's the thing, sometimes you might get that shit right.
Right. Totally right.
Sometimes you might get it right accidentally. Accidentally. And if you haven't done your work, you're not going to be prepared for the level of stuff that is going to happen inside a meditation. When you come to full realization of yourself, like Luke Skywalker walking into that cave, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to be prepared and you're going to scare yourself silly. Half of the bad rep that meditation and yoga and all these practices have gotten have come from people who went in with some kind of idea in their minds and they got it right. There was no possibility of faking. Okay. And we all know what that's like. When you get that right, you know you've gotten it right. Right? When you have a spiritual experience. For the people who are practicing magic out there or doing ritualistic practice and so on, when you get a ritualistic practice right, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's a lot of people who fake this stuff. They fake it for themselves because they want to they follow the instructions in a book, whatever the case may be. But there's sometimes your mind relaxes and you get it right. And when you get it right, you now have a choice. You have the oh shit choice, right? Oh shit, I had the luxury of disbelief before, but I don't have it anymore. So if I don't have it anymore, that means I have a soul, that all the stuff in those books are actually real. And then what am I going to do about it? You know what that is. That is a dark night of the soul. You can't run back into disbelief or convenient belief systems.
They can, which creates another dark night of the year or dark night of
the dark night of the decade.
Dark night of the decade, because you're going on that avoidance journey.
Yeah, because you want to stay in your ignorance because it's so comfortable. You know, it's like
it's a blissful state of ignorance. I talk about that state of being that I'm going to be a light worker, not pay my bills because God's going to come and pay them. No, he's not.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Right. That blissfully ignorant state of being is a choice. Yeah. Even when you're uneducated in a situation, it's still a choice. People can educate themselves out of just about any scenario. You know, I make joke of it. People go out and get their PhD in YouTube really fast on any subject. You know, but just because you watch some videos doesn't mean you actually have a PhD or make you a researcher. And that's the hollowness of social media learning. So I want to flip this back here of how people use social media to delve into a subject, but they believe themselves to be a PhD researcher. Like all the anti-vaxxers, okay? Most of them have never run an anti-vaccine paper or a vaccination paper, ever.
That's hogwash, Andrew. Why do I need to read a paper? YouTube has told me everything that I need to know. You know?
Or the online voting things and petitions that tell you everything, huh? No, they don't.
No, that's why you have to do your own research. And I think right now what's happening is people are waking up to doing more research. And I want to remind people that when you're online right now and you're searching and you're clicking different links and you're checking different stuff, like know that your higher self is also working through you, and you might not know right now why the hell you're searching this, but there is action intelligence also at play that is kind of helping guide you to certain topics by certain people at certain times. And you don't even have to try to make sense of it, but just know that when you're being guided, when you're going down rabbit holes right now, because a lot of people are going down rabbit holes, And I'm not going to say which rabbit holes you should go down or whatever, but it's time. There are so many people waking up right now to how this world has actually been running in the background. And you know, what the mass pedophilia rings coming down, like another one just came down in Australia, and you know, the new economic system that is supposed to be coming in. Like, we've heard this stuff for so long, and it's actually happening right in front of our eyes. Maybe not the way that we thought, maybe not in the time frame that we wanted it, but rest assured, this world's changing and the system is coming down. In my opinion, I feel like this whole corona COVID virus stuff was an answered prayer. I don't know how popular that opinion is, but I honestly,
the gift that keeps on giving, Raj. It
no,
keeps on giving.
it really wasn't like how many times have people like prayed and like just pleaded, like, oh my God, someone help me, like I hate my job, or this relationship, or you know, the traffic, like something little. Everyone's doing it in their own way. All of a sudden it's just like all stopped. Everyone stop, reset, take a break, rest.
Yeah, Andrew and I were actually talking about the economic situation, and we've been talking about it for a while, haven't we, Andrew?
Yeah.
Because
ever since I sent you those charts, and you couldn't believe what was going on because you were in between. Yes.
When I see Richard Branson willing to sell an island to save Virgin, I'm like, oh, well, things are happening. Clearly, when you hear that oil has gone into negative pricing, it's like we never thought we'd ever see this stuff happening.
Yeah, it's so
We
true.
never thought.
Are you excited about this, or are you afraid?
Afraid? No. I'm not afraid, because I do know that when this is done, people don't understand the impact of everything that's going on around them. And that's why we have shows like this, so that we can analyze.
And we can create a social media movement with our knowledge of what's to come. You don't need to be psychic of what's going to come to the market.
No, you don't.
You just need to be aware. And we can create a strategic plan, like activate, deactivate day, what I was talking to you before about off day. There are so many ways. The thing is, you got to take it off of Facebook so that they don't shadow ban it there, where people can go to a place and understand how to use your social media as guerrilla warfare against the system.
That is correct. I'm also concerned. Well, let me tell you what I'm afraid of, Raj. We had a talk in the breakout room before the broadcast about the suppression of free speech. And that's what it is the suppression of free speech. You cannot have algorithms that are looking for certain kinds of topics so that you can ban people or limit their viewership on social media. Okay, it is in direct contravention to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The declaration, it is in contravention to the rights and freedoms which all countries are signatory to that convention. All of them are. Okay, so and it states so expressively. I'm just gonna let me see if I have my phone around here. I'm gonna pull it up because I keep these things on my phone. And of course, I would have put my phone off for the broadcast, but you guys go ahead. And I'm a little bit concerned about that, because all the social media people are now doing that. Okay, they're putting restrictions in place where what you can talk about, what you can't talk about.
So if you guys are listening on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitch, Twitter, Periscope, or whatever else we're on, please come and join the Zoom room. We are going to be taking calls only from the Zoom room. If you want to be involved in the hands down, hands up chat inside the Zoom room, that's where we populate all of our subject matters for people that are coming to. You can join the Twitch, the Zoom room at the Zoom meeting number is 911-001-1974. And if you look at the screen, there are phone numbers, US, Canada, United Kingdom, and Australia. And we have worldwide calls all the time. So come on and join us in the Zoom room. And now we are going to talk the next level of social media interaction. Now, Raj, you started in broadcast TV and then found your way to collective evolution, and were thrown into a whole different soup of creation. And now you've even evolved beyond collective evolution. Haha.
That's hilarious.
Yes.
That's hilarious, Andrew.
Perfect setup. So the way you use your social media engine makes you unique, because that's what social media is. The way I use my social media makes us unique. And we're all unique influencers, content creators, but it still comes down to creating. What keeps you in that creator space and motivated?
Wow. That's a good question. Okay. Well, right now I am motivated by like the mission.
Mhm.
The mission right now is to help as many people to remember who they are, and that means remembering your own divinity. And so, you know, why am I up at 1 a.m. finishing a video? Why am I constantly, you know, writing an article knowing this could go nowhere? Because it's more important. It's more important that you did it. It's more important right now. Don't worry about who's going to see it at this point. It's more important that you got it out of your being. You took it out from here and it's out here now. That is the most important part at this point. And remember, we are going to band together just like this. My network's going to come to with your network, and then I'm going to connect you to Unify, and then I'm going to connect all of us, and you're going to connect all of us to your other network, and then we're all just going to, you know, do the flower of life thing. Because that's
Just,
right.
We're all going to be social media bees and pollinate each other.
Oh.
I
love it, because this is true though, because there's no more, like, we're done with competition. Now we really have to step in
collaboration.
Cooperation. And guys, as leaders, you know, everyone watching this, I think, is a leader as well. Everyone's a leader, but we just are like, okay, we'll go first. Okay, so cool. No, let's now us come together, and then everyone else can like jump on. And this is why I love that we're talking about social media right now, because it is the perfect avenue for you to get your story out there. This thing is amazing. It's a mini computer, you know, and you can create with it. And don't give a shit about what people think. If you feel it, that's why I want to come back to the heart, because this will give you the strength and power that is already there inside of you to push through any fear, scaredness, shyness, or whatever. Get more connected with your heart. And I'm not saying forget about your mind, because you can't, but actually aligning brain waves and heart waves causes coherence within your system. And when you are coherent, that is your optimal state of being. You're thinking more clearly, you're making better decisions, and you're speaking from conviction. You want to speak with conviction, and that will really turn people on in the right way to okay, I want to hear more. What is this person saying? Okay, let me listen. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
It absolutely makes sense. It actually does. Okay. A lot of people get on social media and they may be talking about topics that they're not very passionate about. And that is a problem in and of itself. If you go on social media and you're talking about stuff that you really don't care about, it's going to come across like this person really doesn't care about it. You have to engage your audience. Your audience has to be understanding that you have a stake in the game, so to speak. Okay. And I think that when you're on social media specifically, a lot of people get caught up by, I didn't get enough likes, or this person made a mean comment to me. Yeah. Listen, you cannot, if once you step onto that platform, you have two choices. You must take the knocks that come with whatever. Some of the comments that you get inside your YouTube comments or your Facebook comments, there are teaching lessons for you. Right? Some of them are people generally trying to constructively criticize what it is that you have said, right? And if you are the person who learns by debate and whatever else, you must take it in the best possible way. You cannot be sensitive when you're jumping onto this platform. Okay, you cannot be sensitive when you're jumping onto social media platforms. It's a public platform. People have the right to say what they want to say, and some of the comments are going to be mean. Okay, they're going to be mean. They're going to be downright mean. Raj, look, look, between yourself, myself, and Andrew, all of us have had mean comments said about us. Or some of us have been stalked. Some of us had people invade our homes. Not that I'm mentioning any names. So I'm just going to point.
Me, yes, that's happened a few times.
Some people have had people invade their homes. People are going to say mean comments to you. And Raj, you're not hard on the eyes, so you're going to get those kind of comments. Sorry.
I get the other side of it. But you know what I started doing is, before I do a broadcast or start a video, I encourage, and even when I'm teaching a yoga class, I say drop all, try to drop all any preconceived notions that you have of me, of this class, of what I'm about to say, of what you think. And also I preface it with, I will not tolerate derogatory and or negative commenting, because perhaps this channel is not for you. This is what this channel is about. This is what this video is about. It's for some people, not all. And if you're one of those people, just know that I won't tolerate it.
Excellent.
And you know what? It's decreasing, because you're calling people out, and also reminding people that any negative energy or psychic attacks, because that's what it is. It's psychic. When you're thinking willingly to somebody, you're remember that it's gonna come back to you, right? Just know that, everyone. So it's good to preface any content or videos with that. If you feel like you're getting a shit ton of negative commenting, just let your peeps know. And again, this comes back to standing in your conviction, standing in your power, and that helps when you are centered in your being.
We don't even preface that anymore. People just take it for granted that this show is going to be that kind of show.
Cool.
It's going to be that kind of show. It's going to be that kind of show. We're going to run you up against your belief systems, right? I keep referring to belief systems as BS. That's what it is.
Yes.
It's just BS. That's what it is.
Yes.
Right? And there are a lot of people who don't question their own belief systems, which is why we're here.
So
which is why we're here.
This last Friday, we did a comedy show, and I started the show off with, "We intend to offend." And if you cannot let yourself down to take the stick out of your ass for one show, don't watch this show. And now we had a blast, and David got to turn on a part of himself that, I don't know, made him glow for 3 days.
Yeah. I took little strips off of religious belief systems.
Yes.
That was very cathartic for me. I felt actually a lot lighter for a few days. Yeah. Right?
You glowed, David. You glowed.
I think you guys brought up such a good point, actually. In the sense of like, yeah, it is super important to just like express yourself in whatever way it looks and sounds like, without a filter. Especially now, there's a lot of things happening inside all of us, and it's good to just express. I want to see this comedy show. Is there?
Oh, you can come on this.
You can come on this Friday if you want to come on.
You can come on this Friday, Raj. This is an open invitation to you.
Yeah,
because there are no holds barred on this show. No holds barred.
That would take me so far out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, it's a comedy show. So yeah, look, Raj, you know me, right? And I went on that show and we had a blast. We did.
Yeah, we have a stand-up comedian from Australia named Monty Dean that comes on and helps us keep us in the comedy lane. And sometimes we're ripping on spirituality, just comedy. It's a letdown phase, and some of the topics that we were serious, but cathartically, comically healing.
Oh, that's awesome! It is. I love you guys. That's great.
We even made fun of our own selves.
Yes.
The best thing ever. All right.
Yeah, and you can't be afraid to say, "Oh shit, I fucked up," or I made a mistake, or you know what, that sounds like a interesting point. Maybe I'm going to change my position. I would love to see more of that online, where people say one thing and then someone else chimes in with another comment, and you're like, I'm going to reassess my belief system and come back.
Actually, you know what? After the show, we thought that we'd have a mountain of negative comments. There weren't that many
There
negative
was
comments.
one. There was one.
Yeah, there was one very negative.
There's always one.
There was one. And only three dislikes. And only 3 dislikes.
So we thought that there would be a mountain, serious backlash. People say like, we're not listening to these guys ever again. Not in this lifetime, right? But it was actually because we took some strips off of religion. I couldn't help it. That was building for a while, Raj. I was building for a while, while inside myself, and then just let it out. There are. So yeah, that show is actually, no, really, we would love to have you there, Raj.
Absolutely love to have you come on and just wax comically with us. Any direction.
Yeah, I would love that. How do you guys like not give a shit about what other people think?
Oh, I've been doing this since 2013 or 2012. And the level of comments that come to me for what I do at a psychic level, a shaman level, a healing level, I could be healing a person of sexual trauma from they're 5 years old and people calling me a fake. It doesn't matter. I know what I am. And it's to the point where your right to free speech ends when you come onto my channel. Do some of them hurt? Only if I let them. Like just a couple seconds ago, because I still let some of the notifications come on when I show, somebody put up a really negative comment on a YouTube, click remove, done.
Yeah,
it doesn't affect me anymore. Though when I see like them tearing apart a guest, this and that, and the guest has nothing to do with what's going on. Most of the time, the guest is talking about something, or we're talking about something that they know is wrong inside them.
You know what? When it is that you get negative comments, there are 2 aspects at play here. The individual, you've triggered something inside the individual. I even hate that word. Why would they take a gun analogy? Never mind. You've triggered something inside that individual, right? And that individual is reacting to whatever. But I had a very good and a very sarcastic sister when I was growing up. And whenever I would give her an opinion, she would normally say, your opinion is not necessarily my reality. Okay? You say your opinion is not necessarily my reality. And that usually ended conversations. My sister was brutal with that, right? So it doesn't matter what I said. And I learned a lesson from that, in that when you read these negative comments, some of them are actually very funny, okay? Like the negative comment that Andrew was talking about. What was the comment that that came up?
Why are you attacking the white lighters? Something like to that effect.
Because it's just easy, okay? It's
wait, hold on. What's a white lighter?
A light worker, white lighter. Yeah.
Tell me, there's nobody in this chat room and in this audience, none of you right now can tell me there is nothing funny about a white lighter. There's absolutely nothing. Don't even try it. Yep. All right? Because when you meet somebody who's bathing you in white light, what white light would look like to that person is completely different than what it looks to you. They may be throwing white light on you, but all you're seeing is dark, murky, black goo coming at you. So you might want to just dial back the white light, okay?
Especially if you're a person that's sovereign and say, this is my space, and you don't just go to come here and tag me with your white light like a street tagger.
You remember Cloak and Dagger?
Yes.
Remember Cloak and Dagger? You remember Dagger with the white light shots that kept sticking into people? Right? Yeah. I kind of imagine that like that. And there's another thing that has to do with personal space and personal psychic space as well.
Right. The vomit, the vomit, because they think everybody wants my white light. Now, part of the comedy show, we have a lot of people who the wife is a light worker and the husband's a conspiracy theorist, and they haven't had sex in 20 years. Okay,
because
really common.
The conspiracy theorists will be thinking, "Oh, you're up to something. You're part of the system. You're trying to drain me of my life force. That's what it is." And then you're going to like give my life force to the lizard people. But then the white lighter will be thinking something along the lines of, I want to bathe you in white light. I no longer need this body expression. I'm going to fuck you with my white light instead. And I keep telling people who are in this kind of this kind of mindset and so on, Imagine your energy and your white light like your pheromones and your sweat and your armpit.
Yep.
Not everybody wants to be underneath your armpit. It just isn't going to work that way.
Unless you're German.
Right? Unless you're German. Right? Not everybody wants to be not everybody wants to be under your armpit. So keep your white light to yourself, okay? Until asked, unless somebody comes up to you, can I smell your armpit?
Hey, what about my violet flame?
Same thing. Your violet flame may be burning somebody really bad.
Oh my God!
Like a spiritual rash.
And then this is turning into the Friday show real quick.
Oh yeah,
right?
it is.
Right, because I might be discriminating as to what color. What?
Wait,
can I ask a question, Raj? Is it violet in your culture, but is it in white in Andrew's culture? You know, that's the kind of shit.
I love it. Yo, someone just wrote, light workers are too pure for sex.
That's true.
Can you imagine?
Wrap yourself in spiritual Teflon. Oh my God, these people are so funny. I'm just reading some of the comments now.
So what we've come to is we talk about the extremes, and on this show I talk about zealots and martyrs. And David knows well about, it's zealot. And it's the ones who become the extreme zealot and martyr. And those are the ones we're poking fun at. But many of the light workers have a tendency of, I'm just going to bathe you in my white light. Guess what? In the world of spirit, if they don't ask for it, don't give it.
Thank you.
The biggest defense you can do is give somebody energy work they didn't ask for. You're as bad as the lizards when you're doing that.
I'm going to give you an example of what I'm talking about. I went to a retreat some time ago. Okay. At the retreat, there are a lot of yoga people there. And one of the yoga individuals who was preparing the food was giving drishti to the food. Okay.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, no, I think I'll not eat today, thanks. Which food does not have the drishti in it? Okay, which food? And I'm like, I know that's really sad of me, but look, honestly speaking, don't put your intent. You're assuming that your intent is pure, okay? But I'm not going to take the chance. I'm just not going to take the chance, okay?
It would be wrong to your own personal moral code to allow something in your energy system that you don't feel right about.
But
correct.
Somebody might be like, oh yeah, give me the one that has darshan. Give me the one that has blessings. So
you're allowed the choice. You're being given the choice.
Exactly. You're allowed.
Here is the thing that we need to break this down really carefully for people. Depending on who you are and what stage of development you are, people, it's like, I have a problem with certain belief systems with Reiki. I'm going to knock the Reiki people on Friday. So you know that's coming. You just know that that's coming, right? I'm just giving you all full warning that that's going to happen, okay? Energy, when sent through any channel, is kind of like putting water through a pipe. Agreed? Yes or no? How clean is the pipe? Is the next question that you have to ask. Because if you're going to tell me that I'm going to drink energy from just about any water pipe and it'll be clean energy, that means that if I get an old rusty pipe that has been sitting down for a long time and I pour water through it and then you're at the other end with your mouth open, just drinking in this water, then you're going to have an issue. Am I not?
Right.
Am I not correct on this?
Detroit water system pipe versus new pipe.
Detroit water system pipe, right? Right. There is energy is interrelated to the source which it comes from. Now, if you're saying that the source is a universal source, why don't you go look for it yourself? It's like people who pray to Jesus and Mary. It's like, why don't you go? Is there something preventing you from getting God's love?
Inner work, David, and social media addictions that keep them from doing the inner work.
No,
and they think that doing a post is the inner work. And I want to take this back to social media and how we as social media influencers can help people have a healthy relationship with social media. We all know we could talk about the unhealthy side over and over again. What is our advice for people to have a healthy social media relationship?
Okay, I'll chime in with the first point is try to make your feeds as conducive to your beliefs as possible. So if you want to see more positive things, more spiritual things, more informative things, to maybe some people like biohacking and stuff, make your feed more like that. And actually, guys, I started unfriending a lot of people the last 4 weeks. Have you guys? Just curious.
I did, yes, quite a bit. I unfriended and took likes off of my main business page for people that were clearly down the conspiracy Trump rabbit hole so much that's all their feed was about.
Like Trump's a bad guy and he's evil?
No, either way, it all depends how far down. If their site was super progressive or super Trump, and that's all they were ever going to post about, and once a month they come for their spiritual taste test and advertise on my page.
Yes.
Anybody that advertises on my page, you're getting kicked. Period.
Okay? Yeah, because this is not about left or right. We don't right. care about left or right. We don't care about this divisive nonsense. Okay, yeah. we take the piss out of everyone equally. We discriminate equally. Yes. Okay,
equal opportunity. We're equal opportunity discriminators.
Right. All right. We don't believe in this left or right thing. If people keep subscribing to this nonsense, there will be no social change. Right? Everybody's polarized this way and everybody's polarized that way. Like, who gives a shit, really? Do you really have the time? Do you really have the time to be thinking about all this kind of stuff? Really, think about it. You have work to do on yourself, but you're caught up with Trump supporters or MSNBC and versus Fox and all that kind of nonsense. You don't have time for this shit. Really, you have how many years to live? Spend it becoming a more developed human being. And then you can say, Fox and MSNBC, I don't really give a shit. Okay?
Yeah, thank you for that. Going back to Andrew and social media and how to use it in a more positive way. So fix your feeds. I would say make sure it's what you actually want to see. And then another thing is, remember, your subconscious mind and your conscious mind play together, and your subconscious mind picks up things all the time from everywhere, and it's on 24/7. So make sure you have things around you, first of all, in your physicality that bring you up and help you, remind you of why you're here. But also remember, like, something simple as your background of your phone. Make sure it's something that is inspiring to you and making you feel good, because you're looking at it 100 million times a day, right? So make sure it's something that is really makes you feel good.
I also recommend turning off your notifications on one of your devices.
Right.
Okay. Now I've turned off the notifications on my phone because it's just dingy, 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 dingy all the time. And once I turned all the notifications and took the apps off my phone and said I can only use it through my computer or my iPad, life simplified with social media. Have one device that is just for you. And if you are now watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter, or Periscope, come on to Adventures in Reality meeting room in our zoom.us. And we want everyone to come and be a part of the chat. We will be taking calls here in just a little bit. Nailed it.
I had one more thing about social media and how to use it. Oh yeah, and be like super mindful when you become a scroller, what is it, like a serial scroller on any Instagram or Facebook. Like, what are you looking for? You know what I mean? Just become aware that you are scrolling. And also, if you're not posting, just be mindful of how much you actually are on social media. Because if you're posting regularly, it's good to check back with your comments and engage with your people. But if you're not posting right now, like, just have that level of awareness, because there are people around in boardrooms, around tables, specifically trying to come up with reasons and ways to keep you doing that. Right?
So there's a great comment in the thing here from Jamie. We live in the age of I for I am.
What we live in the age of I scroll, therefore I am.
Therefore, I am.
That's
exactly.
good. That's the meme right there, Jamie. Thank you.
Excellent, Jamie. Correct. The Cartian issue.
Yeah, you're relevant. Wow.
Scrolling habits. There's a lot of people that scroll looking for something to, I want happy scroll today. And they ignore everything until they find something happy. And 4 hours later, they find something that gives them a ha ha, ha ha, and they move on. And they don't realize they just wasted 4 hours of scrolling.
We missed something here that has been brought up as of recently. The effect of social media on the mind, the endorphin rush that comes and subsides. And people get caught up in that aspect. And if you are a producer, and you're putting stuff out there, we want you to be responsible with the way you consume your own content and the likes and the dislikes and so on. So your mood and your emotions should not be changed by whether or not you get likes or dislikes. From the time you get engaged in that, that is the rabbit hole that you're going to go down. Okay, I see Monty. Is Monty Dean in the chat?
Yes, he is.
Hello, Monty. Why aren't you here?
Robert, bring Monty into the chat.
Bring Monty to the chat.
Who's Monty?
He's our comedian from Australia. He helps our Friday shows.
Nice. That's awesome.
Hello, Bird Banana.
Monty, how's it going?
Good. It is 3:07 in the morning.
Whoa. Why are you still awake?
I had an hour and a half sleep, and I had a very interesting dream, which I'll talk about off air. It's one of those urine dreams. I've said too much. And so I just had a feeling, or just had to be here. And apparently I've been replaced by a better looking person. Thanks, guys. That's always good to know.
So,
but yeah, I was just every time I just turn up to listen and learn, I get dragged on. So I figured out your plan.
you need to change your name in the chat room. Because once we see it, we're gonna drag you in. Yeah, for sure.
Well, actually, I'm decided to. My alias is not Monty Dean.
Not the real Monty Dean.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'll help us a lot, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you.
No, we were just talking about social media, and Raj was going over the effect of social media, where people get caught up in the idea of likes and dislikes.
Yeah, the dopamine hit, which I think I saw a video of someone who worked at Facebook or still working at Facebook. That was part of the algorithm, is to make sure get people addicted to check all the time. And I'm sort of like that as well, because my cat doesn't really chat to me that much. She's always sleeping. But it's like, notice the notifications a red circle, and you always check to see if there's a notification, and then you get that dopamine hit, and then you look, and then you put it down. It's like, oh, that's enough. And then 20 minutes later, oh, I wonder if there's another one. And of course, there's more than one social media thing, where like starting up my own YouTube channels, like, oh crap. And you've also got Twitch and Discord and WhatsApp, TikTok for the youngins, Facebook, Minds, MeWe, Gab, what am I, Twitter? Oh, that's a cesspool. That's why I like going there and making people upset. It's like, but like, it's one thing I find interesting, like, because I'm 46, so I'm from the 20th century. It was centralized, easier. I mean, there's an element of control, but it was so much easier. It was like, here in Australia, we had 3 TV channels. Now there's 200 channels. And so it's interesting to see how everything's sort of fractured, but at the same time, we're coming to a point where everything's being fused again.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Yes, it is.
So Raj, I want to bring back the social media journey. Now, your journey is a little different because you started in broadcast TV, jumped into the fray of collective evolution, which you had to learn a whole different journey of getting your content seen, understood, You had 2 seconds or 3 seconds to grab their attention. And now you've evolved into your own coaching world, your own business world, so on and so forth. So from the business side, how do you separate your business from your personal social life?
That's a really good question, and it's a little challenging because if you're positioning yourself as an influencer, they are will overlap. But like for my video clients, I let my work speak for itself, and also getting referrals from people that I've worked with has helped a lot. Now, I just saw the question of, those of us interested in social media for business instead of personal use. What I'm noticing right now is, I've seen a lot more people writing articles on platforms that are open, like Medium and stuff, where it can be seen more often, and actually tweaking your content for your business so it's more shareable. Because if you get other people sharing your content from your business, it means that they're identifying with what you're saying, and enough that they want to share that with their networks, and that will really help spread the message. Because at the end of the day, what do we want? We want more people coming back to our websites, buying products, and subscribing. I think this is a great time to build your email list right now, because the economy and jobs and all that stuff, a lot of people aren't working. A lot of people are, really considering should they spend right now on luxury items. So if your coaching package, or whatever product that you're selling is in their eyes a luxury, you're going to have to tweak the narrative just a little bit to help them see how this will be beneficial for them in the long run. So to say it more clearly, I want to say that diversifying your content, and also meaning spread it on different platforms and getting it more shareable, and refining your message is going to really help right now. That's what I've noticed with the last few clients that I've worked with, and even with myself. And letting your work speak for itself has helped a lot too. Was that clear?
Yes.
Understood. Raj, are you available to help people with their social media issues for a fee, of course?
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually trying to put something together for people, like social media training. So like really technical stuff, like how to schedule posts, like what platforms to use. Okay, so right now I want to plug Airtable. There's a free version of it. I highly recommend Airtable because first, it's very user friendly. Second, you can throw all your content in there, and even so it's like a giant database. It's like Excel on crack, and like way easier to use, because you can customize each of the sections. If I was a little bit more organized right now, I would have brought up my Airtable to show you what I'm talking about. So in one section, I have the headline, and then another section I have the post that I want to write. Another section is the platform that it's going on, the date it's going to get posted, the link. So pre-planning all your content is awesome. Also, look at the calendar. What's coming up? Earth Day is actually tomorrow. What else is coming up next week? Because or the next few weeks, because now you can tailor your content to follow what's happening in the world. So make your content super relevant to what's happening in the world. And this will help all of this. You being great, we have Airtable up right now. You being more organized with your content and your content schedule is going to help you so much with reaching more people, and actually helping you step more into your creator mode. Because once you feel that like fire inside about social media, I'm excited about posting, this is great, it's just going to become super easy. Like I'm a social media manager, and what I've noticed is like people hate it. People hate doing social media. They hate posting, they hate commenting, they hate, it's just like, I don't want to do it, but it's necessary. You have to do it, especially if you have an online business. Even if you have a brick and mortar right now, you just got to do it. So how can you get better at it? So Airtable, be organized with your content. And then there's another thing. Speaking to your audience. Sorry, there's one more thing I wanted to talk about with scheduling posts and content calendar. Formulas. Try to come up with a formula that you like. So on Mondays, it's a video. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, post. Friday, article. Saturday, old archived thing. And don't get stressed out right now about thinking you have to create all of this. No, you have so much shit that you all have already created that you have not posted. I know this to be true. Because it's true for me. So it's got to be true for you guys. And so go back to your Instagram. Go like 2-3 years ago. Bring up the old content, make it relevant again, and start there with your content calendar. And so while that is happening and all you're doing is responding back to peeps, you're making new content that's going to come out. So you're pivoting right now as well. And then also speaking to your audience authentically. And that's just going to take a little bit of practice. And that's going to take some standing in front of the mirror. That's going to take turning on your camera on your laptop. And actually, when you're going through something, grab your phone and just record it. I don't care if you're crying, laughing, or if you're feeling an emotion, record yourself. And you're not going to post it anywhere, okay? This is just for your archive. This is for you. It may get posted, it may not get posted, but this is for you to have as your documentation. I really want to encourage people to start documenting what they're going through, especially right now, because right now is such an amazing time that we're going to look back on and wish that we captured what was happening. So I want to encourage everyone to grab your phone, start capturing what is happening for you, put it in your database, right? The one that you're making right now. And I promise it's going to come back again. So I'm putting together some social media training stuff, fun. So one side is the technical side of how to become tickety-boo on your social media, and the other side is how to be more authentic in your expression. So we're going to be talking a lot about heart stuff because right now, even now, like I'm in my heart and a lot of you are feeling me, right? You can hear me and see me, but if you can feel me, wow, that's very powerful. And then I have coaching packages as well. So I have a 5-week intensive. It's intense, but it's for really like you're ready to really go. And then I have coaching, 8-week coaching, and then a 12-week group package as well. So there's lots happening. It's so fun. And stay up to date with me on my YouTube channel, and especially on my Instagram. I do a lot of stories. I love stories, by the way. So that's another thing with social media, especially for business. Stories. Okay, quick hits. People can really digest quick hits right now. Also, if you're going to do stories, please write a caption. A lot of people still are not listening to social media, and it's not their fault. They might be in a meeting, they might be on the subway or bus or whatever. I know it's different right now. We're not really, in these places, but they might be on a walk and they can't actually listen to what you're saying. So if you can write down a quick caption of what you're trying to say, that's great. Also, get really good at becoming concise. Be very precise with what you're saying. And take a second. It's okay. I get excited. I get really excited. I just want to I think I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, you are. I'm looking at you. Yes, you are.
Because there's so much to say. But if you just take a sec and trust that the right words will come out at the right time, that's awesome too. And if you're a teacher out there that's watching this, also trust that you will teach what you know to who's in front, because you will never know who's actually watching you. Just like now, like I'm seeing all these cool faces and names. I don't actually know who they are, but I have to trust that I will teach what I know to who's in front, and what I know is deeply inside of me, and I can speak intelligently and authentically on it. Okay, I'm done.
Sure.
We are all signature frequency matches for the moment of now. And that means who's listening to you in the moment of now is there and meant to be listening to you in the moment of now, and just accept it.
Boom. Yes. Thank you.
So we have a great question from Say Socks to everyone, to you. Any advice for finding a balance between creating evergreen content and maximizing trendability?
Who's
first,
taking that question? Raj, go ahead.
yeah, first thing, don't add any dates into the content, into the actual content. Don't give any references. Oh, it's St. Patrick's Day, or like I'm wearing bunny ears because it's Easter. So first, when you're actually creating the content, don't make it seem like it's Christmas time or something, right? But in your post, in your captions, that's where you can make it really relevant. Also, stories. So stories are pretty timeless. You've gone through a lot of things in your life. You have a lot of great stories. So start with a personal story that can lead you into the actual thing that you want to sell, or the actual product that you're trying to sell. And David, do you want to add something?
Yes, and on the technical side, make sure that you have video editing software. So if you make the mistakes that Raj is talking about, you can edit them out.
Yes.
So you can edit them out. A lot of people think that you need a degree to do some basic editing. You don't. Okay, you just need to understand the concept of a timeline. You need to understand the concept of how to blur the background. You got these things under control. Make sure that you have a fairly decent, I was actually surprised. These iPhone microphones, they deliver pretty good audio. I mean, like, I was actually surprised. So on the technical side, you don't need to spend a lot on software. I mean, Apple has iMovie, for instance. If you have an Apple computer, Windows has, what is Windows's movie editor, a movie maker it used to be. I can't remember because I don't deal with Windows a hell of a lot. But there are some free programs. Don't throw money at things before you actually understand what it is that you're doing. Start small, baby steps. Speaking about baby steps, Andrew. Yeah, anyway, start very small. Take very small baby steps, and you will get there. Right? But Raj has given you some really good advice. Stop dating those videos. There's nothing like in the middle of summer watching somebody give a talk with a Christmas tree behind them. It's like you're thinking about, why is there a Christmas tree behind you, right?
Yeah.
Learn how to make the video timeless.
Yeah, timeless video. And why I sense personal stories are really good as a jumping off point, because they're timeless, right? I can tell you a story about when I was 21, and yeah, so that's one thing. And then, so just to go off of what you were saying, David, I want to recommend, like, I use Premiere Pro. It's not everyone's a shooter, editor, all the things. So it can become very challenging. There's a platform called Vidello. I put it in the chat, that I would encourage, people that aren't as technically sound with, Premiere Pro or Adobe Suites. This little program here is like a all-in-one. Oh, it's a private, damn it. Okay, it's Vidello, Vidello, and it's specifically for social media videos, for like quick hits, right? One other thing I want to tell you guys is, especially on Instagram, or even on Facebook too, if you have a video that has a very specific message, and at the end you want to sell your product, have your video, so like you're in the center, and you've seen this before, and they have the, writing here and writing here. That still works, I noticed, really well, because again, people's attention span and they're scrolling. So if you can give them the information real quick at the top and at the bottom, awesome. And so to create that, you can create that on your phone. There's InShot will help you do that, or this Vidello system will help you do that as well. And if you are a Premiere Pro person, first of all, if you're an editor that's watching this, please contact me. I definitely need some editing help here. That's just I'm just gonna plug that real quick to see what kind of people we have in the audience here. So yeah, those are two recommendations I wanted to make.
All right, so we want to open up for calls. So if you want to be a caller, you can go down to the participant buttons, click on it, get three little dots, and you can raise your hand. That's right. We are looking for people who want to have a phone call, a internet call. We've got a bunch of people that are raising their hand, and we are going to be talking social media and beyond. All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who wants to have a conversation with the panel here.
Okie doke. First person will be Concordia. You're unmuted with everybody.
Concordia, are you there?
Yeah.
Yes. Where are you calling from today?
I'm in England. Yeah.
Welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm very well. I'm calling because I heard there were loads of people taking the piss. So I guess I was calling into the Beyond section.
Yes.
Really, David, that was aimed at you. That was
Yeah, I am very much aware of that. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm very well. Yeah. And yeah, I just came to take the piss.
Yes, that's fine. You know, are you going to be there? Are you going to be there on Friday? Because
we are professional piss takers here.
Because
Right, this is why I'm here.
We will be taking.
Think of it at the back.
Because we will be taking the piss again on Friday and every other Friday after that. But honestly, I haven't heard from you in a while. Go ahead, take the piss.
No, that would indicate having some sort of bladder issue.
No bladder infection this week? Oh no.
Oh no. You live in England, so taking the piss is taking.
How big is your bladder?
Start with the Queen.
What, start there? Oh, bless her.
In her little green dress.
Yeah, it's sweet. I really feel for her because in this time I've made friends with the system. So I'm
just be careful. That system doesn't like to make friends back.
No, it often doesn't. But
it's a fair weather friend.
Yes, I know that. I've seen that. But there are ways of doing things. There's always a way of doing something, a way of interacting. And, you know, looking at this whole concept of what's happening and what has been happening historically for eons, it's just really, it's really that time to rip apart those high-waisted knickers in green with scales.
Old Lizzie. Yeah.
Yeah, lovely image there.
I would like to point out that I'm being very mature at this point. I haven't said anything. I'm just keeping my mouth shut. But please continue, everyone. Please continue.
No, please do interject and chime in.
No, please continue.
This was why I called.
Well, I actually shared a meme on Instagram. Well, that's the only thing I use my Instagram for. I just share memes. I hate taking photos of myself. And I think it's a billboard in Piccadilly Circus, and it's got the Queen wearing that great green, dress. And didn't all the editors had fun with that one. I think the Star Trek uniform was very fetching, but they had a quote from her where it's like, "The kingdom will be made into the first galactic empire." And all the Star Wars fans got that joke, so I was happy with that.
Does the Queen know that wearing a green dress, anybody could put anything on that dress?
That's the second time I know she's done it, so obviously someone needs to be fired at the palace.
That is correct. That dress is a virtual walking green screen.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the kind of fun an editor would have with something like that in post?
And to do that, while we are looking for editors out there that can take the Queen's dress and edit it into something unusual, email us.
Someone put a Queen t-shirt on her. So the Queen's wearing a Queen t-shirt.
Gosh, that's not good enough. They should superimpose her somehow into that baby that was born from that TV program V from back in the day.
The lizard baby, yes. or have her holding a little lizard baby.
Yeah, but no red particles.
We should look. I'm going to chime in. I'm going to be devil's asshole here. We really shouldn't be taking the piss out of the Queen. She's had a really rough year so far.
She's lost a lot of money.
Sorry about that.
Lost a lot of money.
Sorry.
She's had a really rough last year, end of last year, and this year as well. Yeah, royal family is,
Well,
There's
one of her grandchildren went rogue. And apparently the latest thing that Harry said is that I don't think the virus is what the media is pointing out to be. And everyone cracked their shits over that.
also there's a little bit of dark light and the white light in the palace, so that these things add up, you know.
There's a little turd floating around on their right.
Right, that brings me to you, Andrew. That story of the toilet and something in it that is so big.
The galactic toilet flush. Yep, it's coming.
the guy who did that.
Oh crap, Robert! Really? Seriously? This is exactly what I was talking about. Like, and can you imagine the things that? Oh no! Look at what they did to her green dress. Jesus Christ!
That was so fast. That's awesome.
Yes. All right. Thanks a lot for calling. We want to get as many people have a chance to call in. So if you want to be a caller on the show, you got to go into the Zoom room and raise your hand. Thanks a lot for calling. Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who's the next caller.
Okey-doke. Next person is Joe Shoemaker.
Joe Shoemaker, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Great. Where are you calling from today?
I am calling from my bathtub in Portland, Oregon.
Your
Oh,
bathtub,
excellent,
and
excellent.
welcome to the show.
Which is why the video is not on, Joe.
Yeah, leave
That's
the video
correct. I'm taking a mineral bath, detoxifying as we're purifying energy fields with you guys. So this is perfect.
We? Are you in there by yourself? Or
I am in here by myself. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You said we. You said we. So either you're
Well,
talking about the.
My wife is somewhere in our house, but she's not in here with me.
Do you have a rubber ducky? That's the real question that everyone's asking.
I really wish I did. So now you're inspiring me to go buy one.
Yeah, well, while detoxifying, you can start singing like, is it Bird or Ernie? My rubber ducky. You know,
So
just
what questions did you have for us today?
Well, Andrew, it was perfect that you said that we were all in this moment together, because I'm on the precipice of becoming a social mediaite and positioning myself not just as a reflexologist, which I've been doing for the last 6 years. I've been working on thousands of feet over the last 6 years, but I took the pinnacle soul retrieval training for my shamanic coursework, which was 5 years in the making. And I've been giving soul retrievals this month for free as a way to test whether or not this is something that I want to pursue and just to practice. And it turns out that I love this work. It is absolutely incredible. It feels like the best way for me to be in service. And I'm ready to jump into social media and talk about the gifts that I've been hiding behind. Just, I've been rubbing feet instead of, doing the psychic work and the divination and healing work that is powerful in shamanism. So as a shaman yourself, I feel like I'm up leveling and ready to jump in. And I would love to know the way in which I should best do that, since we've got someone on the line that
I want to give you an example of a coaching session. I want David and Raj to pick you apart for a couple minutes here and help you put the pieces of the social media puzzle together.
Great.
Raj, take it away.
So what would you say is your biggest problem right now?
My biggest problem personally?
With your social media stuff.
Well, I mean, I've largely avoided it because I spent 15 years. I have a story. I'm hooked to a story that I spent 15 years in a marketing agency working for other people, and I got burned out from it. And I took a lot of time away from being in front of the computer and posting on social media. So I'm errant, and I'm hooked into that. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to sit in front of this and do this work. It feels like work to me, and I don't want it to feel like work.
Can I just point out something here, Raj?
Please.
You're in your bathtub right now. Am I correct?
That's true. You are correct.
And you're reaching a whole bunch of people. Does that feel like work to you? You're talking to us.
Absolutely not. This is actually a dream for me. So
Excellent, excellent. Excellent. Now you see, this is good material right here.
That is very true. Point well taken. Thank you.
Right.
What I find interesting, very quickly, what I find interesting, someone called Shoemaker has worked with feet.
Oh, I know. It felt like a destiny to me, and it's been a gateway to so many things. I've developed coaching programs from working on feet and insights and breakthroughs, but my body has taken its toll, and I've burned out my hands and my thumbs. And here in this great pause is the recreation of myself and my business life. And now I'm seeing very clearly where I need to be.
Excellent. So may I make a suggestion to you?
Please.
It's a really good suggestion that if you think of it as work, call somebody on a Zoom call or whatever else, have a discussion with them, record that discussion. Okay, somebody who's elevated, who knows what you're doing, who's curious about what you're doing. They probably don't even need to know what you're doing. They're curious about it, and explain it to them. Okay, record these things. Okay,
that's
then
a great idea.
It's not work anymore. We're having a discussion, like shoemaker, the reflexologist who's a shoemaker,
who has transitioned.
That's perfect. That's perfect marketing, built in.
Oh, it's perfect marketing. And the fact that I want to let go of the reflexology part, so I'm rebranding myself, and that's really where I find that I'm needing the support. Is I'm known throughout my local community as the foot guy. Well, I'm now stepping into shamanic arts, which I've been practicing for 5 years on the down low, and now I want that to be.
Did you say shamanic arts?
Shamanic.
I picked that up earlier. Yeah.
I think that's what my practice was for 7 years.
You got to change your name.
Humanism. I love it already.
That is amazing.
From your feet outwardly. Look, look. When you're dealing with social media and stuff, it has got to be fun, right? Raj can tell you, right? Raj and I were at a retreat in British Columbia some time ago, and if you saw Raj with a camera just walking around talking to people like normal, it just happens that she had a camera in her hand, right? And she was talking to people like normal. She was just interacting. So I think the problem that you're having, the mental block that you're having, is that you're assuming that this is some kind of chore that you have to do, whereas it could be something as natural. And especially in the industry that you're in, which deals with people, you want to come off as natural and caring. So doing this hardline marketing thing will not work for you in your industry. They want to know that shoemaker cares about their feet.
Right, but I do think that this is indicative of what I'm trying to move away from.
The soles of your feet, because you are soul retrieving.
That's part of it. That's definitely part of it.
This is not going to stop. I can see this is going to stop.
So you're saying you should be called Soul Maker?
Soul retriever through the soles of the feet. Haha. So this type of rebranding and using the comical factor as well as an understanding, there's a way for you to rebrand yourself so your body, mind, and spirits feels rebranded.
Yes.
And social media gives you that chance to rebrand yourself in one post if you really want.
Yep. Well, when I released the offering for soul retrieval for free, I had, 54 comments on my Facebook post, and I was booked immediately. So there's a need for the work, obviously, and I was at least articulate enough to describe what it is that soul retrieval is, that people were interested in it. So yeah, you're right. I've experienced that, and now it's a deeper level of rebranding. And I love the comedy aspect, just making it light, even though it's very powerful.
Are you recording this right now?
I don't know how I would do that. No, I'm not.
Because you should have been recording this.
You get the copy. So Raj, what are some of the bullet points or topics that you want to cover with him?
You guys made some amazing points already, and again, I don't want to overwhelm Joe too much. I think you're doing a good thing already with making a Facebook post. You already got a bunch of comments. People are interested. Good. And so now, have you made any videos yet, Joe?
Not yet. That was my next endeavor.
Okay, cool. So when you do make a video, please make sure that you sound and look nice, approachable.
Okay.
You seem trustworthy, because now you have to build that trust with people. They want to hear your voice. They want to see your face. and also get testimonials from these 54 people that responded to you and who you're working with for free. Make sure you get testimonials from them. They can be written, or ask them to do a video testimonial if they feel comfortable with that. Because have you made your website and all that good stuff yet?
That is what I'm doing. Like when I get out of my bathtub, I'm gonna go on my computer and start working on the rebrand.
Right. Okay, cool. And so when you're rebranding, something to remember is people get really like, what the hell's going on? If you just like one day, you change all your graphics, all your color scheme changes, they lose trust very quickly. And this is all subconsciously, right? They know obviously Joe's changed professions. I can see that, but can I trust what he's doing? Because it's just changed in a flash. What I have seen big brands do really well is they were dripping really slowly. So we still we saw their colors, we saw their symbols still the same, but then they would slowly bring in the new branding. So let's say it was like House of Raj presents Woke Lives. So those are two brands that I have. And if I was gonna go fully over to Woke Lives, then at first I would bring in the two logos. At the end of the video, it would say brought to you by House of Rajie or presented by Woke Lives. So they're getting like a little taste of it. Or I might put the logo at the bottom of the page. It's just more dripping, and as transparent as possible. And I think using the comedy aspect of souls and all that stuff is super cute. It's awesome. People love that. And is there anything else? Also, oh yeah, keep writing too. I know video is very important, but the writing is also just as important as well. Talk about what's happening in these sessions. What are you finding? What kind of breakthroughs are happening as well?
Oh, it's remarkable. I have so many stories to tell, and the divination and the psychic aspect of it, and the healing and the tears. It's incredible.
Beautiful. So right after you finish a session with someone, I'm going to challenge you to go by yourself, open your phone and talk about it. Remember, you're not going to post it right away. You may or may not ever use it, but start documenting what's happening. Okay.
Beautiful.
I also want to chime in here. While you were speaking, I was reading the comments, and I've organized all of your stuff in my head already. So let me plan your life for you, Joe. Okay?
Please, thank you.
So the first thing you gotta do is you're gonna stop the in order to stop the idea that you are doing work when you're doing the social media stuff. You're gonna get people that you trust, who can talk to you at your level. You're going to have a conversation with them. You're going to record it, whether it's audio or otherwise, because if it's audio, you could always put it to something else. Okay. Just walk around with your phone and record. I don't know if you're speaking to me on an iPhone right now.
Yeah.
Just to let you know that the iPhone 10 is not waterproof. But you try.
iPhone 6 isn't either, and that's what I'm on. Yeah.
You're on iPhone 6. Well, definitely do not drop that phone. Don't drop that. Whenever you're making, keep it lighthearted. Like right now, you have people in the audience asking you, make sure you have that towel on you when you're making your videos or whatever you're making. And sometimes it might be good. You could call your business Bare Feet, for instance, or you could give people their walking papers on the receipts. These are the kinds of things that I'm thinking about, right? Because you will forever be known on this show as Joe in the bathtub, the reflexology. I'm just letting you know that right now.
Shamanic guy. See, this is what happens when I start talking about feet and they're related to my last name, and that anchors in, and all of a sudden I'm known as that. Well, here I am saying I want to rebrand that, because I'm in another phase of my life. So I want to make,
Understood. But with regard to social media and stuff, collaboration, like you collaborated here without even knowing. You call into the show, we are having fun. Indeed. This is not work. but people know that there's a guy named Joe who does reflexology.
Who's a soul retriever now.
As a soul
See,
retriever.
Right. See, the thing with social media, you get one chance to make a hardcore first impression on anybody that's a first impression from you.
Right.
And your 6 years of reflexology says you've done the hard work. You've done the
Have I?
6 years of healing, which means you are an experienced person. And
Definitely.
ultimately, when one gets into soul retrieval here, you're doing the combative hard work with a person's personality that may not want to heal. Raj, are you familiar with soul retrieval, how that works?
Well, yes. In like a shamanic sense, yes.
Okay.
I mean, ayahuasca really helped me like solidify her back inside my body because she left a long time ago when I was a kid. But I think, through other modalities, ayahuasca is just one way. And I'm curious to know what Joe does.
So let's just have a brainstorm session solely on the soul retrieval side. So Joe, why don't you just give us like a 2-minute spiel on what soul retrieval is to you? And we're going to have a little brainstorm session with everyone here and in the chat room so that you can see there's many ways to get this branding cat a skin on it instead of skinned.
Right. That's a great idea, Andrew. I appreciate that. And I just forward this by saying that when there is trauma, a wound, an incident, whether in this lifetime or another lifetime, it leaves an imprint. It creates a pattern, a disease, illness. It could look like any of the negative vibration emotions, sadness, depression, and lethargy, and you name it, energy depletion. And in psychology, when something like this happens, they call it disassociation, which is a defense mechanism to keep you from re-experiencing the trauma over and over again. And in shamanic terms, we call it soul loss, or a divine essence that has been displaced out of you and out of your field, but that is naturally yours. It's your birthright, it's your divine self. And the shamanic practitioner in a session during an intake would determine what are the patterns that have emerged as a result of this loss, even if it was in a different lifetime, whether that's addictive behavior, relationships that end the same way over and over and over again. And we're just getting to the core of what the issue really is. And then we go into an altered state using the drum as a sonic driver to take us into the middle world realm, generally speaking, to locate and retrieve this part of you that is really longing to come back to you. And then through a very mystical and often metaphorical, but sometimes literal process, that energy is given back to you in ceremony. Now, there's an altar that's built, and even over Zoom. I mean, I've been doing 14 of these calls so far this month over Zoom with no latency. It's as if we're in the same room together, and people feel this process of this energy returning to themselves viscerally. They remember a part of themselves. One person said, I feel 7 pounds lighter. It's every time, it's amazing to me to hear what the results of this 2-hour session are. So just boiling it down, we are looking into the intangible, unseen realms to retrieve a part of yourself that is rightfully yours and integrating that back into you, while also helping you with the 3D discipline that will be required to make sure that that energy locks in, and so those patterns can dissolve.
Well said.
Is
So
there
Raj,
anyone, let me just ask questions. Is there anyone in the audience that doubts that Joe knows what he's talking about? And would you go to Joe?
Someone in the chat said yes.
Yes, they doubt me.
no, yes, they would go.
Okay.
You had such confidence in your perception, and you did it from the bathtub, live on air. Does it take, what more proof do you need?
Okay. You're
Imagine if you
absolutely
stood up
right.
and got dressed. I mean, hello.
That's great.
So I want to bring Raj in here and just brainstorm with him for a second on the branding side of what he just said.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. If you recorded that and put some imagery to it, and you can totally package that as like a little commercial for what you do. But I feel like you already have your branding done. Is that correct?
Not physically, not like logo, website dialed in, but in theory, in the way that I embody this work and can speak to it, yes.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, like, is your logo done?
No, I don't have any of the tangible elements done. This has really just been in my head and in practice.
Okay. And so now you're at the point where you want to put content out there, but it feels arduous. It feels like it's work. It's coming back to the original problem. Yes.
Well, I mean, I'm here in my bathtub talking to I don't know how many people about this profound work and feeling actually really good about it. So I think we unhooked a little bit of the story or all of it today.
Yeah, and I think that's super powerful because just getting Joe, motivated and inspired about what he's doing and how you're actually really helping people. And I think once you get these testimonials in from your clients, it's just gonna ignite an even stronger fire under your butt.
Well, I appreciate that because I did receive some testimonials back. I didn't even ask for them. They just sent me either messages or emails. And even from the people that are in my same program who've been studying shamanism for 5 or 6 years now, they were saying that they had really beautiful experiences. So I've got a handful of these already. And that's obviously very validating.
What are you going to do with them?
I am going to post about them anonymously and tell my social media network what happens during a session and what people are experiencing during and after.
Are you on Instagram?
I am on Instagram, but I'm nascent. I don't have much going on there, but I would like to explore that.
Okay, when you do post these testimonials, can you make it look like a nice little graphic?
Sure, yeah.
Like make a nice little background, throw the words on there, and then your post is going to be speaking to that testimonial.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I have one thing for Andrew as well as we're talking about this, because I'm recognizing I just worked on 14 people, but there's a big pattern that has emerged. And the pattern that's emerged as we talk about what you want to return to you is quote unquote, my childlike joy. Is that a function of where we are currently, or is this just, has it always been that way when people are?
It's a function of the generation they were born into. Every generation has their innocence broken or stolen or evaporated from them differently. Like I'm a Gen Xer. My innocence was destroyed by school and the work life that I had to be in school, because I had to start work at a very young age. Now, millennials have a very different stealing of their innocence, and the boomers, or the doomers, as Bonnie likes to call them now, the boomers and the doomers, they had their youth stolen from them pretty much at childhood, because their parents were recovering from PTSD and an environment where everyone was competing through racism and the great social changes that were coming on. So each generation has their own way in which their innocence was shattered. Sometimes it isn't a hard shattering. It's a very, like an earthquake that takes years to really rock the person. And then they go through what we'll call a year's dark night of the soul, a year's night soul, dark night for a year. And the thing is, they don't really know they're in that dark night for a year. And when they come out of it, they're such a new person, but they're constantly trying to regain their youth, because that's what motivated them. I did this when I was a kid, and they try to keep redoing the old things and they never get motivated. So what you're really getting back to them is the choice to be innocent.
Oh, I love
That's
that.
ultimately the mechanism, is the choice to be innocent, because innocence still is a choice. We can reach that purely innocent stage out of choice again, no matter what trauma's been done to you. Yes, some of those traumas have to come off so the choice is easier. And then there's the journey of the shaman's death. We all go through it on a regular basis where we have to reevaluate who we are. And some people who have gone through this continuous reevaluation state, they don't know who they are because they don't regularly figure out who they are on a regular basis. They don't allow the natural hindsight to give them a mystical insight so that they can have a mystical foresight about their own selves.
Yeah, wow, way to put that. That's beautiful, Andrew.
Thank you so much for that. That's very clarifying to me.
Now,
Because-
one other little side thing about innocence. It's innocent. And there are a lot of people that have had it stolen out of a hardcore trauma, and it's a
Yeah.
foreign state of being to them.
Mhm.
And what you're really instilling into them is the signature frequency of innocence. And that's the mechanism of healing that you're getting to them, so they can viscerally feel innocence again and not be afraid of it. So many of them have had an abuse or something that has made it a painful state of being.
Mm.
And you're helping them erase in the parasympathetic that innocence is pain.
Mm. Yep, that's what's been happening. I haven't phrased it like that, but you've given me some vocabulary to describe this better.
And that's all we need is a good vocabulary to describe it, and our
Yep.
heart behind the words, and everything can get revealed. Because in a sense, in your shamanic retrieval, your words are vital.
Indeed. Right. It's all about
Vital.
the weaving of the healing story.
Right, because there's an intuition and a psychicness behind it, but then there's the person who has to know the state of emanation. And so many people are emulators, and they don't even know that they're emulating the outer world and reinstilling them the emanation of the signature frequency of what it is you're trying to heal in them.
Mm.
So they don't waffle between emulating and emanating, because that's what the journey is you have this powerful emanation, and then they're trying to emulate your emanation.
Hmm.
And the real healing is they emanated out of the signature frequency match.
And that is why, as I create this package, this is, yes, it could be a 3-series, to make sure after the soul retrieval, we've got that emanation process happening. But this is a longer journey. It feels to me like shamanic energy coaching, which is a longer 3 to 6 month journey through the depths of yourself. Is there collective thought on that? Because I could do one-off sessions like I've done for reflexology for years, but I've been scratching to get money for that.
So I'm going to take one little harsh stab. You're not
Please.
a psychologist as a coach, and far too many coaches become psychologists.
Mhm.
Coaches were never meant to be psychologists. You're a healer.
Yep.
Stick to that motto, that
Okay.
they have to continue that, and that most often when they start leaning on you to be their psychologist, as a healer, you have to stand up and go, no, I'm your coach. You need to seek additional help professional to that.
Right.
Otherwise, you're going to water down what it is that you do.
That's a very valid point, because I'm in my zone of genius when I'm in the healing practice.
And if people don't want to do their inner work, which is the psychology side, then that's something else that the healer can help them with in a coaching basis that does not stop them from doing the inner work, because all too often us healers do the inner work for them and then they never get over it.
I would like to probably chime in here, because a lot what you've said is actually extremely valid, Andrew. I just want to clarify the distinctions and the lines between coaching and professional psychotherapy. Okay, because both of those right now.
Okay.
And I think coaching is exactly what it says it is. You are assisting or facilitating this individual to move to spaces and places where they can action their own healing. However, if somebody comes to you and says, I have tried to kill myself several times and I am about to jump off of a building, if you do not have a grounding in and of yourself, coaches are, the thing about a coach is that you are not taught certain protocols in psychology. One of the protocols in psychology is a distancing. So there are a lot of coaches who become burnt out after a year. Okay?
Yep.
Because a lot of people generally tend to go to coaching, and a lot of things that people are facing, coaching is indicated. What is not indicated, however, is when you have stuff that shows up on the DSM manual. You're not necessarily equipped to deal with that. And something that you do, which would be, let's say, as an example, I'll give you an example. Sexual trauma at an early age, where the person does not remember that they were sexually traumatized.
Mm-hmm.
If that comes up in your coaching session, assuming that you used an intervention technique of some sort, which brought somebody in to contact with that sexual trauma, you have to be prepared for the abreaction. It can get very messy, very, very messy, and very quickly. And it could be in your office.
Soul retrieval can cover that at some level, but ultimately that person's going to need ongoing integrative therapy that isn't coaching and isn't soul retrieval.
Got it.
Because you can only do so much as the practitioner, healer, coach. So know your cutoff lines.
Okay.
Let me tell you, in my private sessions, I get about 8 to 15 people a year who the first 10 words is, "I'm going to kill myself if you don't convince me."
Oh my gosh.
All right. And that inevitably will happen to you. Well, let me tell you, I immediately have got to go to that intuitive state. And yes, there's quite a few that had a gun in their hands and they turned the video on. What am I going to do at that point?
What did you do?
Each one's individuated. I said, you put that gun down right now. There's an entity running you, because I intuitively know what I could get to them. But since I'm not a psychologically trained person, there's a whole bunch of other techniques that I couldn't bring in. I could only go at that exact moment.
Right.
And I have other people who basically state, if you don't convince me to live, I'm going to kill myself by the end of the session. But they're doing that on guilt on me. And I know that. Okay.
Yep. This is eye-opening. Thank you.
Yes, Joe is thinking, let me reconsider this. No, Joe.
No, I'm okay.
I'm going to tell you that the path that you're going on, you're going to get very intense stuff coming at you. That's neither here nor there. You're gonna, and I can tell you that the world is not, in terms of the traumas and stuff that people face, it's getting more and more intense. Okay. That's what we've seen.
And then you're going to get the demonic possessions. Okay.
Yep.
You've been training for a while for that. When it comes, it shocks the shit out of you. Now, with the volumes of sessions I do, I can immediately tell what is a self-created demon that is just as powerful as a real demon at times, and one which is an external source, which is abusing this person for over and over again, and the majority of their memories are not real. And you have got to get to a signature frequency match of what is a real memory in them and what isn't. What is their paranoia? And your journey of soul retrieval is getting the real soul back in the body, because the parasympathetic has been hijacked at that point, and they can't tell the difference between their internal voice and another voice pretending to be their internal voice.
Right.
Okay. Now I want to bring Raj in here, as a coach and somebody that's been around for a while. Maybe share some of the challenging cases without giving away people, just so people have a rounded understanding.
Yes. So the first client that I ever did after being certified with Accelerated Evolution was a Polish guy from, he found me through my YouTube channel. He saw my ayahuasca story and felt instantly connected to me, wrote me 8 paragraphs saying I'm basically at the end of my wits and I'm going to kill myself. I read this and I'm like, holy shit. Oh my God, what do I do? Okay, I'm going to reach out to him right away. Let's get on a call. Get on a call with him. He doesn't turn on his camera. It's only voice. And now I've just been equipped. I already have heart math under my belt. I already have my own, spiritual tools under me. And so I'm intuiting a lot, but I also just have this amazing arsenal of Accelerated Evolution. So we start chatting, and that first phone call was so challenging for me. I remember like literally putting it on mute and just like going like this, like, holy shit, what am I going to do? Because he was so far gone in the sense of like, My wife has left me. Everyone hates me. I lost my job. I've been exiled from my spiritual community. Like the whole, like even God has abandoned me. What the hell is the point of living? There was a language barrier between me and him also. So we start talking, and I'm listening to him. I'm asking questions. I'm about to go into a process, but something inside of me is saying, no, not yet. Because now we've gone already an hour and a half. I feel like he's exhausted. However, his tone is slightly changed. We get off the call. That night, I didn't sleep that much, to be honest with you, because I'm like, what is going to happen to him tonight? Had I kicked up more dust than, needed to be? Very nervous. We had scheduled a call the next day. We speak, and his tone is completely different. He said he had a dream that night. Krishna came to him. And so then we went into a process. And so the psycho-spiritual work that I have experienced through my coaching has been very powerful, in the sense that I've had people say the same types of wisdoms and insights that someone that might have done plant medicine has. Why? Because we are working with the subconscious mind. Oftentimes I've noticed that with entities, there are aspects of that being as well. Sometimes they're completely foreign, but the ones that Andrew, you were talking about when you said, are they, the person created them? It's self-sabotage, it's the anxious, the jealous. So in one of the processes we have, it's called aspectics, and we literally speak to the aspect. Sometimes clients are so afraid of speaking to the aspect, right? But I'm not scared. I'm here with you, and my contact with you is the power that is needed to facilitate the integration, full integration of that aspect. So literally, even before the session starts, I'm like, just, like kind of move out of the way, listen to my voice, allow whatever wants to come forward. And so what I've found is that people and the aspects, when they get fully integrated, wow, you can see it in their face, you can hear it in their voice, that they they see a new perspective. Oftentimes people forget about what the problem was. And I'm like, at the end of the session, I'm like, so how do you see this problem now? And they're like, what was the problem again? And for me to hear that, I'm just like, oh shit, this is amazing. And it sticks. Sometimes when you do work, inner work, it's like, yeah, but it's going to come back. Like, for example, I worked on my sense of accomplishment. It was a big problem for me. No matter what I did, like I couldn't feel it, like it was a big problem. It was affecting relationships, couldn't sleep, my health, everything. But I did a couple of processes on it, fully integrated it, and it just never was a problem for me in the same kind of way. So integrating these aspects are of paramount importance, because you can't just shun them away. Like, they're floating out here, and they're constantly nagging at you because they want attention, and they want like look at me, integrate me back, because they're part of you, right? And they actually have positive intention for you, believe it or not. So that was my experience a little bit. Andrew, thank you.
I want to just chime in here. And it's more of an advice, because there are a lot of practitioners who are listening to this in an audience. So I only have two things to say here. How do you know the difference between an aspect which is internal and self-created and one that is external? Okay, now Andrew alluded to something there, which is basically, when it is external, the memories are not yours. Okay, that's number one. But here's the other thing. When it is external, it onboards skills and illumination, which is also not yours. So you're looking at it from the negative side, there's a positive side to it. And I'm going to tell you this because I worked in an organization, and we've had to deal with people who are straight on possessed, okay? And the reason why I say that is because I was speaking to the individuals. If you know somebody before or after they've been, for want of a better word, invaded, you will realize that the person has gotten acutely intelligent in a short space of time.
Exactly.
They become acutely, they reason completely differently. You're talking to something that is a little bit older, a little bit wiser than they are. okay? And that is usually a sign, okay? When you have a 12-year-old or 13-year-old reasoning, giving you Descartian and syllogistic logic, you know that something is not right, okay? Syllogistic logic, if A is equal to B and B is equal to C, then A is equal to C. No. Children don't reason that way. They reason, they're not developed that way. So when you have a 12-year-old who you've known before was like, oh, and you know that the aspect is probably external. When it is internal, the person will reason with you and are usually emotional based on feelings. I have seen situations where people have literally become geniuses overnight. Because people usually think of possession as some sort of, they watch the movies, the Diary of Emily Rose, people with their heads turning backwards and so on.
The Exorcist.
Yeah, The Exorcist, right, correct. Right, thanks for the reference. And what it is, they don't understand that possession in that, from an external aspect or external entity, can be something that's very, very subtle. Overnight. But the only common thing about external invasion is that you need to let it in. I'll explain how that works. Okay, I'll explain how that works because I have some background here. People are thinking when I say that let it in, nobody wants to let anything negative into themselves. You're wrong. I'll tell you why. Because if you've been depressed for a long time, you onboard a kind of fatigue, right? You are fatigued, you get tired, okay? When you are tired and depressed and you begin to despair, you will let anything into yourself. You actually open those gates yourself, okay? We had a caller a few years back, well, actually was last year or year before, who used to listen to a lot of death metal music. And then he's wondering, something went wrong with me. I don't know what. You remember that caller?
No, I remember that.
Right. And I had to tell him, you let things in. You let them in. Okay. And there's an intelligence inside external aspects that is a lot smarter than what you can imagine. Okay, because you have to despair, first of all. You have to feel alone. You have to feel down in the dumps. God has forsaken you. When God has forsaken you, anything may enter you. Anything and anyone. It doesn't have to be an external aspect as in a disembodied entity. I can take you over if I make you despair enough. That's the concept of brainwashing.
And that's why cults of personality win so much.
I remove what's there and I fill it in with what I want to fill in. Okay, so that is the difference between what is internal in terms of aspect, internal aspect. These are the signifiers. You could check for one, that person has been deep in despair for a long time, looking for something that they haven't gotten. The void is there. And once the void is there, anything will fill it. There are no empty vessels in creation. If there are empty vessels in creations, they get filled up real quick by something.
Right.
Number two.
By an essence they're not ready for.
Correct. Number two, the other signifier is when that person's memories are not theirs. Okay. Somebody could be telling you about stuff that they're doing and so on. You have to understand, in order for anything to invade you, you have to go into a trance. You have to go into a trance. You do. The concept of brainwashing is based on trance induction. Okay. So I'm going to tell you that in order to program you, I need you to go into a trance. I need you to watch that television for a long time so I could sell you my Revlon hair product. I don't have any hair, but I could sell it to you. Right. You have to go into a trance. So number two, that person has been in and out of subconscious, the conscious and unconscious states. That's another signifier, and it will happen in front of you if you press them. If you speak to that person long enough and you see that person zoning out, that's usually a sign right there. Number three, right? That person has onboarded skills and abilities that are not theirs. 12-year-olds talking to you about syllogistic logic and the nature of the universe and stuff, usually an indicator, right? You think they're that smart on their own, they have information that's on board. They are channeling it from somewhere, someplace. Okay, so in terms of the internal aspect, the internal aspects, that's easy to see. The person is going to be emotionally going to be down in the dumps, but they're heading towards despair. So the second thing that I would like to say, I'm sorry I took up so much time saying, the first thing is that I want to give all of you in the chat room, and if y'all are psychologists, psychotherapists, whether you're coaches and so on, when you meet somebody who has suicide on their mind, your first protocol, please just take a little bit of a hint from David. It's telling them, number one, what would that solve? And let me ask you a question. What if tomorrow you came out of that place and you had a bunch of friends? What would you killing yourself now have missed? Are you saying that there's no solution? You may not have a solution, but I may have a solution. Somebody else may have a solution. So do you really want to end it now? Or would you rather look for a brighter tomorrow?
You're good, man.
Start with that protocol and then you have some way out of it. Okay, I guess that's my issue. Raj, if you need to say anything else, go ahead.
Well, actually, we got to end the show. So Raj, why don't you have your final messages and a way for people to get a hold of you too?
Yeah, thank you. Well, first, I'd like to say how grateful I am to be here with you all, Andrew, David, everyone that's participated for the last hour and a half. Oh my God, we've talked for so long. This is amazing. Super grateful. I recognize that spirit is amongst us, in us, everywhere, and just really, I love that. And so much beautiful stuff can get created when we stay in that vibration. So something I just want to leave you guys with is that you are all shiny, bright beacons, and to step into your authentic power. And I would love to help anyone that wants that help and wants to learn how to do it, what it feels like, and how to best express themselves, because emotional expression is what I think people really need right now, and that's how people can connect with you right away. So find me on Instagram at House of Rajie, Rajie, on YouTube at House of Rajie. You can connect with me on Facebook as well. And my email is Rajie@houseofrajie.com. And yeah, that's it. That's all. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And David, you have any information for people to get a hold of you too?
Yes, very soon we're going to be starting a Baby Steps for Adults program. So that's in the works. We're finalizing it. So for those of you who have people with addiction, people who need communication issues sorted out, it's completely online. So I will let you know. My email address is info@unifiedhealthsystems.com. Would really like to hear from you guys. Thank you, guys.
And you guys know who I am. We will be coming back this Thursday with our call-in radio show for Galactic Historian material. And then this coming Friday, I will be on with the group cutting the piss out of everyone. All right, everyone, and keep in touch. Your e-box, our Galactic History Tours ran a little bit of a technical difficulty as we're having Jen fix some stuff that's inside the thing, but keep attention. All right, everyone, thanks a lot. We'll see you this coming Thursday.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Each different bubble of reality is true. A galactic historian is a person that looks at all the lines of dramatic karma. Nudge, nudge, it's the Holy Grail. Improvise. Mysterious. It's counter psychic intelligence. Why is DNA farming of this star cluster so important? Because we do manifest our reality. We do create our reality.